Hello and welcome to RPG Research and our weekly applied gaming and game training. This is December 17th, 2018, 6:37 p.m. Pacific Time. On Mondays and Thursdays, we meet. The first part of Monday is an administrative meeting for about half an hour or so, and then the rest of that, and on Thursdays, all of Thursdays, is either RPG theory discussion or applied gaming. And today is an applied gaming day. So Danielle is back from her 4-month internship as a recreational therapist at the other end of the state. Welcome back. Yay! And she is going to introduce us to the role-playing game Sentinels of the Multiverse. So this is not the video game, this is not the card game, this is the tabletop role-playing game.
Yep.
So before we get started, let's quickly introduce. So again, I'm Hawk Robinson. I'm taking notes and such and running things, but I'm just a player in the game. I'm not the game master this time around. And
I'm Maxwell Davis, her fiance.
And you'll be playing as well.
And I'll be playing.
My name is Shane Dean, and I'm fresh blood.
He just joined us tonight as RPG Research. He just has gone through the RPG Research volunteer process. Is actually in the middle of that, but was glad he showed up for the game. And
I'm John Wilker, Vice President, and I will be a player today.
And I'm Danielle Whitworth, and I will be leading them through their first comic book in Sentinels of the Multiverse.
And we do not have anybody joining us remotely tonight, so that'll make things a little easier. We'll have fewer technical issues.
Right.
Well, especially I was really worried with the character selection because I've dumbed down how to pick your character real quick.
Okay.
So I'm going to pass these around, and then I'm going to run off to the restroom real quick. And choose a character, but do not open it unless it's this one, Bunker, and it says to open it. And that's only so that you get an idea of how complicated this character is before you step into him. But there's a story aspect on the back that tells you all you need to know about the background of the story. If you have something specific you want to ask about, Maxwell's actually a walking lore master's guide.
To an extent with this game.
So he should be Bunker.
I mean, I don't know. It's pretty complicated as is, and he's played through it about 4 times, and I don't know.
So I know nothing about this setting, this world, anything about it.
So So before I hand out the characters, just to give a little bit of a overview, you guys do not need to know much about this thing to be able to play through. But what you do need to know is that you are either a part of the Fab Five,
Freedom
Five, sorry, or the Intern. I'm sorry, there's too many comic
I
books.
wanna hold your
Or
hand.
the ex-intern, Unity. You guys have played on or been on a part of a team for years, and you are just getting to this at the end of when the card game concludes. So you guys are playing after the whole world has been set into disarray. The streets are all destroyed to a certain extent, and the recovery process has been started. It's about a week into that process. So go ahead and choose your guys' characters based on the sticky notes and the story on the back, and I will be right back.
Well, you obviously put the right one in front of me at the first one. I don't even have to read the rest of them.
Oh yeah.
I am the Batman. Or Batgirl. This one is Batgirl.
And if you're new to this, we do different games all the time. Sometimes it's a game master running one of our regular games, and other times it's a new game, as it is tonight, where Danielle's introducing us to one, just so we get some experience. Okay, so we have Unity, complicated compared to all others, is best when using metal, creativity, and technology. Bunker, hard to do, has 8 modes, is the only one that you can open. Only look on last page.
The little rule book sheet
Okay.
kind of wants you to follow rule of cool.
Okay. Legacy Superman is potentially more powerful when in a leadership role or is at risk. And Tachyon, Flash with inventions. Quick science is best when using. And what did you go with, John?
I went with Batman. This is Wraith, the female version of Batman, so Batwoman.
Okay.
I should have said Batwoman.
More self-made,
sneak,
though.
Throw knives, and investigate.
Yeah.
Okay. Shane, what did you pick?
Absolute Zero. Uses cold attacks, is most powerful when using sarcasm, or is put into a situation where he gets to use his defining backstory.
Okay. I think I'll try Tachyon.
And I'll go with my favorite character in the card game, Unity.
Okay.
Bunker and Legacy are NPCs at best.
Now, John, did you gather up more dice?
Oh yeah.
I brought all the dice bags
Okay.
out,
Yeah.
and those, and there's a pile of dice in front of me.
Okay.
Whether or not any of these are actually complete sets anymore.
So what do we need as far as, we need 3 full
You need-
sets of everything?
Excluding the D20. So essentially 3D4, 3D6, 3D8, you know the drill.
Okay.
And it's more of a recommendation. It very rarely happens that you need 3 of anything. You
Okay.
do definitely need 2 of things a lot of the time. So we're gonna go through the character sheet real quick because it's you get your own backstory comic book essentially for a character sheet. So you have your backstory on the back of it, and it has a full description of what your character has gone through in the card game.
Okay.
Then we're going to actually go through this backwards, because if you peer into here, there is a lot of writing in it, but
Yeah,
most
and
of it...
it's going to be a lot of dead air,
Yeah.
or it's going to take forever if we have to each read aloud. So
Exactly.
That's going to be a challenge.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to go through through it backwards. So that way you got an idea of how it works, and then we'll look at your specific character. We're going to start off with the basic actions chart, which is this one. So you can do 4 things. You can overcome, attack, boost or hinder, or defend. So I'm going to explain these using a Tyrannosaurus attacking a cable bridge. So that way you guys get a idea of how each action works. So when you're going to overcome something, you need to use your wit most of the time.
Should we have scratch paper?
Oh yeah, sorry. You need a couple of note cards
Okay.
because they don't want you to write in the.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So, what you would do for an overcome is a situation where you have the Tyrannosaurus on the bridge, and he's chewing at the cables, and one just snapped, and there's a bus full of children, and you need to distract the Tyrannosaurus so that way that it does not, continue to destroy this bridge. So, you roll your 3 die, which we'll figure out how to determine those later, and you take the middle die, and depending on where it falls on this chart, depends on how you would overcome this this situation. So if you get a 0 or less, it totally fails. If you get a 1 through 3, it fails or succeeds with a minor twist. So you can either choose to let it fail, or you can have it succeed with something that your character personally would think is absolutely atrocious. We're going to flip forward to the front page. So you have suggestions for minor and major twists based on your character on the front hero page underneath Principles of a Hero. So for this one, if we were to do a major twist, you're given the ultimatum between your life as a hero and something else you value. What do you give up? Or for this one, it was just proven that you're too behind the times. So I go to distract the Tyrannosaurus, but it's a smart Tyrannosaurus, and I do the can't touch this dance. And the Tyrannosaurus, I succeed, but the Tyrannosaurus is laughing at me, and so is the whole bus full of kids.
Okay.
So that would be some form of overcoming. You get minor twists, something like if I was absolute zero, I go and I go to freeze the Tyrannosaurus, but I also freeze the bus in place, and now the children can't get out.
Okay.
And if you succeed beyond your action or your expectations, you get to then add your own little twist to it of how maybe the ice hit just right and the bus started to slide and slid off of down the lane and out of harm's way, something of that nature. Then you can do a basic attack, which would be you describe how you're going to attack, and then we decide how you're going to go about picking your dice. And after a few rounds, it won't need to necessarily be me and you picking your dice. You'll be able to figure out which pool to choose from.
Okay.
Then you boost or hinder, which means you'd roll your 3 dice, and then you'd have to choose, and then you get whichever the third die, or the middle die would be, and then it goes onto this chart. So then you can boost the character next to you by giving them ice armor, or giving them a compliment when they needed it the most. Your sarcasm gives them something extreme, or you can do that to the enemy, and that would be like I break off one of the spider's legs, or the Tyrannosaurus's leg, and that would hinder them, but not make them unable to do other actions. And then you can choose to defend. So in this game, it understands that you are always on your guard anyways, but however, so are the enemies that are attacking you, and they have, so your defense and their ability is shown to be somewhat at an equal. So then it would hit unless you defend. You choose to defend.
Okay.
And then you get to choose the mid die usually for that. So now we can look at our other parts.
So I would caution you to not spend too much time front-end loading these rules.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, now you've gotten like the basic actions down for us,
Mm-hmm.
coach us in the game to
Okay.
get the game underway.
There's just one more spot
Because
I
you're
have
gonna
to cover.
okay, as long as it's brief, because
Yeah.
what happens is we front-end load too much, most of it's gonna fall out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people more than others, but typically lecture is at best 33% retention, and that's assuming you're taking notes. So
Yeah.
it's much better if you just let people say, well, I want to be able to do this, how do I do this, and you walk them through once the game's going. But go ahead if you've got one other key thing you need to
Yeah,
cover.
this
Okay.
absolutely has to be
Okay,
covered.
go ahead.
So this is how you choose your dice pool.
Okay.
So you have powers that you have trained, and then so you'd say I'm going to attack this person. So that'd be strength, and then that for me that would be a D10, and then it would be close combat, which would be an 8, and then I'm at full health, so I get a D6, and that would make my dice pool.
Okay.
So you choose it based on how you want to act.
Yeah.
And for where you are in your health pool determines which abilities you have access to.
Okay.
So as you go down in your health pool, the more desperate you get, the more abilities you have. These are the ones that you feel most trained about. Please read them because they change.
Run that
how
by me
you
again.
attack.
The worse you are in your health, the more abilities you have?
Yeah, because you're a superhero, so you're not going to pull out a last ditch effort kind of move, or ones that you're not as trained on, if you don't have to. You're going to try and do the minimum.
Okay.
You're going to try and do the minimum.
Right,
To
but the dice
make
pool
it-
sounds pretty standard to the Cortex system.
Yeah, it's
So-
kind of like a fate dice, is what it's been.
Well, the
credited.
Cortex system uses the multiple dice
Uh-huh.
and builds the pools in a very similar way. So
Okay.
that's not dissimilar.
And then the last thing I'm going to tell you about is for both this page and the other one, and that is most of your questions have already been answered.
It's just not anywhere to find it because there's a lot of text.
There's a
on
lot
here.
of text here.
This
So
is
this
a
is what you
surprising amount.
this is what you would use
Yeah.
for determining what the power is, and then this side is a suggestion for what you would do. And all of them are numbered or lettered, so that way it corresponds with an
Cross-reference.
example.
Yeah.
So this page is all you actually need, but this page is here to help the first time you
But
go through.
realistically, once you've picked a character,
Uh-huh.
you kind of need to give everybody about 15 to 20 minutes to read through this at least. And if they're slower readers, up to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It can be
if
like
you're-
that.
Because, I mean, you've got all this text to read about your character.
Mm-hmm.
So a normal reader could get through that fairly quickly. If we're dealing with younger readers or people with impairments, that's going to take a while, especially
Mm-hmm.
that font size.
If we're making our characters too,
Even-
they don't have
as much verbosity.
they don't have this.
Right, because they got to create it. They got to create their background story. so-
Exactly.
and that's
And
gonna be
it's
more
not-
personal.
It's
yeah.
not, what is this, 12
But-
games?
No, this is designed to be played over.
No, that.
Oh,
Giant box.
that? The Sentinels, that's about 10 years of content.
So, these characters that you're holding in your hands have that 10 years of content.
Comic book content?
Of,
or-
A fictional comic book
Okay.
universe.
Yeah.
There aren't any real comics out of these.
Oh, okay. It's a mythical.
Yeah,
comic book
it
series.
itself is a fictional comic.
Okay.
Yep.
There's only
Oh,
one
meta.
comic in existence, and it comes in this box.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And I did bring, yes. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to look at like your feats and your abilities and what you think your character might do the best.
And I will preface it. It is a lot of text, but once the game actually starts flowing, it flows really well.
Okay.
I found very little analysis paralysis moments
Okay.
or blockage of thought.
Okay.
If you are someone who needs to know all of the rules for your character, it will cause analysis paralysis. However, you do not need to know everything, because the first encounter, which is all that we're going to go through, really only need this much
Okay.
to know,
Okay.
and an overcome, usually.
So while we're waiting for everybody to read through, shall I go ahead and read my background
Sure.
just so we don't have dead air? Or is that going to make it too hard for you guys to read?
No, they've got
I know enough about mine, so
Okay.
I'm fine.
Dr. Meredith Stinson was already a well-known scientist, recognized for her accomplishments in many scientific fields, particularly in particle physics, when the lab accident occurred. All of her scientific knowledge and experience could not save her when multiple fail-safe measures failed simultaneously, and the particle emitter flooded the control room with tachyon particles. Dr. Stinson's entire body was bombarded by these formerly theoretical particles, overwhelming her nerves and knocking her out cold. When she recovered, she found that she surprisingly suffered no adverse effects. Shaken but returning to work, she began to notice an unusual increase in her efficiency. Tasks that would have taken hours were done in half the time, and she found herself unconsciously picking up speed as she moved about the lab. The consummate scientist, she ran a series of tests on herself and discovered that the cells within her body had been accelerated. Securing a wind tunnel within the facility for herself, she began to test the extent of her changes and found that she could move at superhuman speeds. News of her findings quickly spread, resulting in the government recruiting her for a new initiative. Dr. Stinson was offered nigh unlimited research funds in exchange for her joining the Freedom Four. That funding would mean she would have to take time away from the lab and her wife Dana at home. But it would also give her a chance to do a lot of good in the world. So, taking the name Tachyon, Dr. Meredith Stinson acted as both speedster and scientific advisor to the team. Over her many years of superheroics alongside the Freedom Four and later the Freedom Five, Tachyon made quite a name for herself as the fastest hero and the quickest thinker. She also cultivated a deep friendship with her teammate Ryan Frost, aka the hero Absolute Zero. Is that yours?
Yep.
Okay.
That's correct.
So there's some sort of bond there. Later, she took on an intern named Devra Caspit, who had powers of her own. That in turn in time became the hero Unity. Recently, the Freedom Five fought alongside all of the heroes of Earth and beyond against a foe that threatened all reality, Oblivion. Prior to that fight, Tachyon had sustained notable injuries in combat against Progeny, a scion of Oblivion, and still not fully recovered from the grammatical error there, from the Oblivion battle. Moving at high speeds was causing additional injury to herself, and she pushed herself beyond her limits to help save the day. As a result, she now must wear various stabilizing devices to monitor her speed and keep her body from tearing itself apart. Still, she uses her speed and her mind to stand in defense of the world against any who would threaten this world. Tachyon!
All right. Is everyone semi-familiar with your character? The first few green boxes, or okay. And your backstory, especially Absolute Zero. All right.
Do you want me to read, or?
Oh, I mean, if you would like to. Yours is a pretty interesting backstory.
Sure. Just an ordinary janitor at a cryogenics lab, Ryan Frost's entire life was put on ice, literally, when he was caught in an explosion at work. His core temperature was dropped to absolute zero. Even freezing air could burn him. His mangled and frigid body was stored in the lab where he worked, caught in the red tape of workers' compensation. Over a decade later, Frost's body was seized as part of the government's Freedom 5 initiative, and he was operated on under the extreme conditions of a cryogenically frozen operating room, designed by Dr. Meredith Stinson. When he regained consciousness, Ryan Frost was offered a choice: live in a tiny cryo chamber for the rest of his life, or to be outfitted with a mobility-enhancing suit and join the Freedom 5. To that, Ryan Frost said no. Years went by, and Ryan Frost lived in that cryo chamber. His only connection to the outside world was a television showing 24-hour news coverage. When he saw a team of heroes called the Freedom 4 losing a fight against a villain and realized that was the team he was supposed to join, he changed his mind. Better dead out there than bored in here, Frost grumbled as he donned the cryo suit. Thus, Frost became Absolute Zero, rounding out the Freedom 5 and fighting for good to pay off the suit that allows him to live a, quote, normal life. He certainly didn't plan on staying around any longer than necessary, but things have rarely gone how Frost thought they would. As he fought alongside the other heroes, his cold demeanor softened. He became friends with his teammates, most notably with the speedster scientist Tachyon. They shared a love of reading and even started a book club together in the Freedom Tower. Absolute Zero became one of the most resolute members of the Freedom 5. No matter how dangerous the foe or how hopeless the situation, he soldiered on, knowing that he had seen worse. And that continued to be true, right up until the appearance of the worst foe of all. In that conflict, the Freedom 5 fought alongside all the heroes of Earth and beyond against a foe that threatened all reality: Oblivion. Throughout that event, Absolute Zero was a source of stalwart calm in the team, reminding them that no matter what the odds, they would fight for what was right. Ryan Frost's history had built a hero who could not be demoralized, and in that he was an inspiration to the rest of the team. Now, with the balance of his suit forgiven in the wake of Oblivion, Absolute Zero works with the rest of the Freedom 5 to help rebuild and defend the world from evildoers.
We're good unless you want to read your character background.
Sure. Highly focused from a young age, Miss Adriana Montgomery excelled in school, finishing high school early, then graduating with degrees in mathematics and engineering before the age of 20. Walking home from class one night, Mia fell victim to a random gang violence. Her boyfriend was killed and she was left in a coma for weeks. Upon recovering, she vowed never to be a victim again. Leveraging her family's wealth to hire trainers from several disciplines of combat, Mia began patrolling Rook City at night as the Wraith, protecting those in her city who could not protect themselves. As a surprise graduation present, her parents gave her the reins to Montgomery Industries. Mia balances two lives: by day, the world's youngest CEO; by night, the protector of her city. When the Hero Legacy approached Wraith about joining a team of heroes, she was reluctant at first. Her strength had always come from the shadows. Working as part of a team of heroes would be more challenging. It would also take her away from her professional time with Montgomery Industries, further threatening her secret identity. However, seeing the threat posed by numerous villains from this world and beyond, Wraith agreed to be a founding member of the Freedom 5. Wraith still operated on her own around Rook City, but would join forces with Freedom 5 against major threats. In the last few years, Wraith revealed her identity as Mia Montgomery to the Freedom 5. But it's still a closely guarded secret. Since then, Mia and Tyler Vance, aka the hero Bunker, have begun to grow closer. They've started to see each other as more than just teammates, but the dedication to the cause and sense of professionalism that brought them together also means that they are focused in battle, and don't let the personal feelings get in the way of working together as a tight-knit team when fighting evil. Recently, the Freedom 5 fought alongside all the heroes of Earth, and beyond against a foe that threatened all reality, Oblivion. In the wake of this destruction, Mia Montgomery has been leveraging the impressive resources of her company, Montgomery Industries, to aid in the rebuilding efforts of Megapolis, Rook City, and many other places in the world were suffered at the hands of Oblivion. Simultaneously, Wraith has been active in Megapolis, patrolling the streets and protecting work crews as they put the shattered city back together. A hero's work is never truly done. Wraith.
And we'll forgive Max because his voice is gone. All right. So, Megalopolis was once a shining jewel of the urban America, now lies broken and devastated. You see remnants of what was once people's homes and workplaces, covering the streets. There are tired work crews using heavy equipment to remove the rubble. People with masks trying to pick through people's belongings, and people observing in shock. The air feels heavy, and if you spend too much time outside, you are covered in gritty dirt. You have to go to the new construction site of the new Freedom Plaza. However, you have about 45 minutes to spare. What do each of you do before you get to the Freedom Plaza? This is a great time to perform a heroic action or overcome the site of devastation.
I want to quickly wrap up our book club group. Because I get interrupted right in the middle of our book club session. So I try to speed read through the rest of the book for the session. While trying to rein it in.
Okay.
I shall finish my gear out.
Yeah. So there's tons of destruction on the streets.
Yep.
Well, I will go out onto the streets and see if, using my ice powers, I can maybe make it so they can move things for just kind of help the construction workers, because I know what it's like to clean up other people's messes.
Okay. So
And this is a big mess.
Yeah, this is a big mess. Go ahead and we're gonna pick 3 die for you.
Hey, Riley, welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, right there.
This is
chair over
probably
there
the
for
best one for it, but the other one's really complicated. So we're gonna have you flip to this page.
Right.
So you're trying to help. So first off, power. So what power would apply to you freezing the streets to make it so that they can move large objects out of the way?
Yes.
So which one in your powers?
That would be cold, so
So that would be a D what?
12.
Okay.
Big ends.
And then the next column, which is your qualities. So is there helpful or cold or?
I guess this would be creativity, since I'm trying to find a creative way to help clear the mess.
And
That is a
then
D8.
you're in the green zone, so add that die to your roll.
That is also.
And then does that correlate with either of your principles, which are the bottom of your green chart?
Overcome a challenge by involving cold. Use your max die.
Okay, so that works. So it would be that principle. So go ahead and roll, and you're going to use your max die since you're using your principle.
Okay, so max die meaning.
So when you roll the 3 of them, it would be the one that has the most, the
Nice
biggest number on it.
Makes sense. 11.
11. So you more than helped them. So you started off what you thought was just moving a few boulders and flipped over cars into putting out a fire and making this whole scene safe so they could get the backhoe through and get ready to remove the next layer of rubble. Alright.
Wouldn't you know? Some alien comes to destroy the world and it takes a janitor to fix the mess. Take that, science.
Where's the roster book?
It's
That's
down
right,
here.
you have a chance to sign it.
So, doing something like that, using your character to make witty banter, you would have extra XP for that.
Okay, since I prefer to lurk in the shadows and not have myself normally seen, I am going to use my deduction, investigation, and principles of detective to see if I can spot if there are any potential dangers or threats to the workers.
Okay, go ahead and roll your dice.
So that's 6 and 2 10s.
Okay. Sorry.
So I got a 6 for the detection, I got a 10 for the investigation, and because I'm using a principle of detection that's in the green zone is 10.
Okay.
And I have 18. Wait,
Oh no, you don't add them. It's the
Okay.
it's either the max, middle, or men die, depending on what did it say here.
Overcome to learn hidden information. Use your max die. You and each of your allies gain a hero point.
Okay. So you're gonna use your max die, which is a 9. And could you remind me what you were exactly trying to do?
I am trying to determine if there are any threats.
Okay.
Whether that's a building about to fall over or somebody's trying to sabotage the workers, etc.
Mm-hmm. So you notice on the top floor, there is a kid that has opened up a door onto a platform that is not stable.
Grappling hook.
Okay. And since you had 9, you immediately, grappling hook up to the safest wall, which was the one that the door opened up from, and get the kid and come right back down to a cheering crowd of onlooking construction workers who had halted and were trying to scrape together something to catch the kid if it fell.
And then immediately fade back into the shadows.
And so everyone has a hero point. And I'm sorry, that's how it experience is done here. So you have an additional hero point. You can get up to 5 hero points per comic book. And they're for the next comic book that we would go through. So
we got a hero point for witty banter, and then everybody got a hero point because of my principle of detection.
Yep.
Okay.
And because everyone was able to be around there and know that.
Something heroic just happened.
Yep, exactly. So, Riley.
I also gave everybody a hero point for my principle of cold.
Oh.
Because I overcame a challenge using cold.
Okay, so everyone has 2 hero points.
So
to make
you
sure
have
we're telling-
3.
Are you sure I have any? Because I was wrapping up the book club, and then I was going to sprint on out.
Yeah,
at
no one
speed.
was ready with
But I wasn't. I'm not aware, so I'm assuming
Okay.
I don't get any points.
Let's go
Okay,
for that.
good. Okay.
So the streets of Metropolis or Megalopolis, sorry, are in total ruin, and your hero is on its way to the construction site of the new Freedom Plaza. So, you can stop and help. You have about 45 minutes, or you can just go to Freedom Plaza. In whatever way would seem the most.
And you just witnessed them, right?
Yeah.
I don't. What did I witness them do?
So he froze the street in order for them to push a couple of overturned cars and a few big chunks of building
The
out of the
construction
way.
crew to clean up the mess.
Okay.
Doused a fire.
And then he,
Put out a fire, yeah.
And then
Day in the life of a superhero.
yeah, Ray just rescued a child from a ledge that could very easily have collapsed on a building.
Was it you who was talking about the Bob the Builder comparison to superheroes or something? Was that you, or there was somebody I had a discussion with about how superheroes, a comparison, an analogy between Bob the Builder and superheroes.
It wasn't me, but that would be sounded like an interesting conversation.
It was humorous.
So is Bob like Professor X then?
It was a conversation
Could you
with somebody.
remind us
Him and
what
his mutant
character you're
tools.
playing?
I am playing Legacy,
The founder of the Fabulous Five, or
the
no,
all-American mighty flying leader of the Freedom Five.
He's not the founder. He's the co-founder with Unity.
oh.
Or not Unity.
Tachyon.
Tachyon.
But he leads much like Superman leads.
By intimidation.
Yeah.
No, he leads
Nah.
with a smile and good hair.
Oh.
Legacy's leadership is more like, everybody follow me, for I am a beacon of greatness.
Yeah, great.
Pulse plus Ultra.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, or you can choose to just go there, or you can choose to try and help some way.
What? Sure. I mean, I'll try to help in some way.
So you
Okay.
pretty much will list what action you want to do. You can say anything in your imagination,
Okay.
and then
Walk you through the
Yeah.
process.
we'll use the powers that would be applicable to that. So like if you wanted to lift a car, you'd probably use strength and
So-
something.
Do I see anyone in immediate danger?
Not right now.
Okay.
They've just been taken care of. But you can help move the boulders down the street, or get rid of excess rubble, or
Yeah.
hold up a ceiling if,
Rabble.
if the backhoe has to go to a spot.
I'll start removing rubble.
Okay. So since you're removing rebel, first you need to choose the power that would be applicable to you picking up rebel.
I assume strength.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the next one would be your quality. So you're helping the people remove rebel. So
I don't know what it means, but I'm guessing America's finest.
yeah, that would
Okay.
definitely be America's finest.
As long as you feel any of whatever quality you think could be applicable there,
Okay.
you just go
And
with
then the last die you'll get is your green one because you're at full health.
Okay.
So you need to collect those die, those 3 die, and then roll them.
Strength. Oh,
Because of the camera.
gotcha. Oh, and
Okay, so your first die is your min die.
okay.
Your second die is your mid die, and the last one is your max die. And only one of them actually counts for the roll, based on your principal that you might be using right now. So the principals are the last 2 in your green area.
Okay. Okay.
So since you're helping out, is there one that's innately used for helping people?
Principle of the hero.
Okay, definitely. So
Yeah.
and read what it says.
Overcome in a situation in which innocent people are in immediate danger.
Oh, then
Yeah.
that's not.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
either of them.
Okay,
Not-
neither of them work? Okay,
so-
so it's your mid die. So
Okay.
what is the middle die?
So.
arranged in order from.
Okay, so then 2.
2?
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of help out a little bit.
Yay.
But if you would like to take on a small, oh, this one doesn't have it. Small twist. Oh yeah, small twist. You can you can succeed. So you can help them with a lot more. So maybe you scrape your suit, or you accidentally throw one too hard, or
Or you throw your back out while
Ah.
trying to lift a rock that was
What a
way too
good
big.
super.
Doesn't
No,
that
it
count
was
as a
actually the
major
really
twist?
small one.
that's
I'll
a
pick up.
major twist. A minor twist would be like popping a tire.
Okay. Okay.
Accidentally lift with too much gusto and send them into orbit.
I mean, not.
That would also
Sure.
work.
I went to pick up the car and I tore the door off.
How?
Oops.
I guess I'll take a minor twist.
Okay. So
So-
what's your minor twist?
When I was picking up all of the rebel, it actually just broke into more pieces, so I had to pick it up more and more times.
Okay.
Still plenty of sand.
So
Yeah.
some people are
Just
giggling
sleep
at
underneath
watching you try and load that
Screw it, I'm
backhoe
making
or
a
that dump truck
beach.
of yours.
Never send a pretty face to do a janitor's job.
There's Mr. Fixer when you need him.
Really not here.
Okay. So, as you guys wrap up and start heading to the new plaza, you hear something.
Shh, you smell something? Anyway, I finished the book and caught up and was like, oh, what happened?
So you hear something. Strange spider robots crawl up from the sewers and start to come after the people who are doing the cleanup. And to be more specific, 9 spiders come up out of the...
No, 15.
Oh,
Because it's the
no,
amount.
it would be 9. No. It's 9. 9 spiders. You're wrong. 9
Modifying
spiders.
for abilities?
What?
Modifying for number of people or abilities?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
number of people.
Yeah.
But it would be 9.
It's 3 times.
Okay. So it's GM shit, but
9 spiders crawl up from the sewers. What do you guys do?
and they're like robot spiders?
Yes.
Or, okay, and so these are known to be bad? They're not. There's
No,
no
they
chance
do
that
not.
They can be
They're coming. They're coming after you, or after the work crew. They've already entrapped one with its web.
good? Oh, okay.
Never met a
Also-
robot spider with good intentions.
Before we start turn order,
Mm-hmm.
I need to tell you how this works.
Okay.
So it's kind of like popcorn. So whoever decides to go first, then they would pass it on to someone else.
You do that to yourself.
And we have to go all the way through each player and the environment, which in this case would not have a real turn, as well as the spiders or the monster. In this case, based on so. You guys get to choose what order we go in.
So essentially, who of us do we want to go first?
Well, I'm super fast.
I would say the
So
fastest
lo-
one goes first.
Logically, it makes sense for Tachyon
So-
to go first.
I
Okay.
think so.
I think speed first, air reconnaissance second, and then
Stealth attack.
the rest of us will bring up the rear.
Okay. What I'm thinking is a hypersonic attack to help slow down multiple targets, set to hinder. So
Alright.
let's see. So that would be my speed, and it's a finesse. 8, and I'm in good condition. Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
And then they'll be arranged in order of least to most.
Okay. 6, 6, and 3.
Okay. So, you're attacking.
I'm trying. So if I attack multiple targets using finesse, I use my min die. Hinder each target with your mid die. Okay, so I don't understand that.
So you're gonna attack with your min die.
Okay,
So which is a
3.
3.
So essentially, he's running around and
Yeah.
causing a hinder on all
Trying
of
to
the
slow
9
them all
robots.
down so that
Okay.
gives everybody else
So,
time.
but you attack with your
Mid with,
Mid is a 6.
is a 6.
and then the hindrance that he applies, if it goes off, is a 3.
Is a 3.
So
Okay. So you disable one of them because
Okay.
you hit it on while you were going in a circle.
Okay.
And 4 of them are hindered by 1.
Okay. Good. I'll keep zipping around to do that while it hopefully buys time for everybody else.
and then you'll choose who goes next. You'll
Oh, I choose.
yeah, you pass it to whoever you want to. This is the type of stuff you could
Well,
negotiate
my
with.
buddy, of course.
Okay, so Absolute Zero, you are up.
All right. Well,
You could.
I am most
Freeze 'em in
concerned
place.
about the one that actually has a worker.
Oh yes.
So I'm going to target that one, just basically, ice block it. So that would be cold and range combat.
Okay, so you're trying to freeze it in place, or you're trying to hit it with an icicle?
I'm basically trying to block it. Just
Block it?
turn it into a
Freeze
block
it
of ice.
into
Okay.
an ice
So
cube.
it's immobile.
Okay, go ahead.
And 8 for my health. So we've got 12, 8, and that's a 6, yes. Okay. Oh, no, wait. That's a 9. I grabbed the wrong one. That's
Pretty good.
okay. So 8, 9, and 12.
Solid numbers.
Yeah. So, and you're attacking with your mid die?
Well, I'm using Principle of Cold, so that would be my max die.
Max die, alright.
Makes sense.
And that one is a block of ice.
Plus, everybody gets another hero point.
Yes.
18!
Everyone gets a hero point.
And max 5 of the hero points?
Yep.
And I'm hoping the worker's not getting mowed on anymore.
No.
Excellent.
Okay, and who
Who
is
do you
going?
pass it against? You still have me as well.
And if you pass it to her, she's only allowed to use 2 of the spider bots in a row. She kind of has to popcorn it to herself once and then to one of us. And if we all just keep going
I like the
in a
idea of an
row-
airborne attack, so I'm saying Mr. Legacy goes next.
Okay.
What? I can do an airborne attack?
You can fly?
He
Fine.
basically
Yeah.
Superman.
Let's say that.
Yep. You just don't have
You know who
laser
Superman
vision or
is,
ice
right?
breath.
Oh.
You have super strength, super perceptive powers,
So
near invulnerability.
More like the Incredibles with the father.
Yeah, except add flying. You're pretty much flying, Mr. Incredible.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're Frozone.
Well, I think Frozone had a better attitude than me.
Actually, no. Absolute Zero is kind of a sassy person.
Well, yeah, but Frozone's got a much nicer place. I live in a refrigerator.
Valid argument. At least you won't lose your super suit.
Well, if I do,
You die.
burned.
Okay. How about? Yeah, I could fly. Can I fly and then give and then use galvanize to boost using leadership that applies a bonus to all attacks for all of my allies until my next turn?
How would you do that as a hero?
I would go up above everyone so I can see everyone, they can all hear me, and then I would yell down, I don't know, inspirational speech of some sort that I would come up with on the spot as a good hero.
Okay. Inspirational speech.
Yeah.
Let's hear your superhero voice inspiring everyone.
God.
Just yell, just say plus ultra with the deep voice.
Come on, Riley, inspire us.
You may not be able to keep playing.
No panic attacks allowed.
Okay. Go forth and beat these evil. They may be evil. I don't know. I haven't met them long enough. But to beat these.
Great qualifier.
You may want to
Robot
roll your dice.
Robot spiders that could cause chaos through the city.
So
So it's Woody
you're
Allen
using
superhero.
price.
That's exactly
So
like that.
8, 10, and 6.
Okay.
I think the only galvanizing thing about that was the spiders.
Is it inappropriate for me to say oy vey?
And that would be because you're using your. Are you using any of your principles, or is it no?
No.
Okay.
What? Principal
So
of a
it's your
hero?
mid-die.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Well, you saved the
You did
one
save
innocent person in danger,
Okay.
so
No
you
longer
can't
And
really
the other
take
ones
it.
are
Okay.
running towards them, so I'm gonna say you can use this.
Okay.
Okay, then yes, I'm using the principle of hero.
Because they didn't see you until just
Okay,
now.
so
Whenever
your
they get a
maximum
turn.
die.
8.
Okay.
X 8.
And
All
a
right.
hero point.
Okay, so if we go to the
Alright.
back here, really quick, it should say affect die results. Okay, so we all have a +3 boost to whatever die roll we want to use it for. due to his speech. We can
Okay.
use
This is a
that
one-time
once and
It's
then
once,
it's
yeah.
gone. Some boosts can
Well-
become persistent. Like when I make a robot, I have the power to give them
Okay,
enough.
that's fine.
This
We got
this
it.
says to all attacks until my next turn.
Oh, even better.
So all of you guys, so you might even be able to squeeze a couple more
Yeah.
+3s out of it if you
Yeah.
have it relaxed.
So who do you pass to?
So you have Max, Unity,
The spider
Ray?
bots.
and the spider bots.
Okay. I'll do Wraith just because I would do it to the spider bots, except I just give a speech and then have them all attack. It probably doesn't help their confidence. So I'm gonna give it
Okay.
to.
That's a great reasoning.
Okay.
All right, Dave.
So I am using my grappling hook, which is in the green for 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gadget, so that's an 8.
Okay.
And I'm using range combat, I'm assuming, for that, as
Yep.
opposed to investigation, stealth, or the other thing.
So what are you going to do with your grappling hook?
I am going to shoot my grappling hook through the legs of one of the spiders at another spider, hook it, and yank it through the other spider.
Okay.
Yeah, which would I count that as an entangle, but I'm going to do a 2-for-1 special.
All right. Go ahead and roll your 3 die.
And if I don't have the strength to pull him through, I'll just hook him to his belt. All right,
Alright.
8, 6, and 2.
And did it go for one of your principles?
It isn't a principle.
No. Oh,
Attack with range combat that remove physical bonus penalty.
oh no,
Hinder
you're
a
getting
target.
hinder and a.
Yeah, use min die or move to elsewhere in the environment.
Yep.
It says using your min die or to move elsewhere on the dice.
Or in the environment. So you could have either pulled, you could have pulled the one spider with you, and gotten between the other spiders and the people as an option for your secondary action.
I was trying to pull one spider into another spider.
Yep. So that's your hinder for the second spider.
Right.
So the min die is your hinder, and your mid die is your attack. So that would be the 6.
Okay.
So the 6. You shot right through its head
Oh.
and got quite the leverage on it, and pulled it through to the other one, which is one of the ones that was already hindered from before.
Doesn't he also have a +3 to it?
Yes.
If-
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So
This way I have that plus 3.
yeah, the +3 to each of those die.
So we're
so-
talking.
But they're not added together. So, but that one would be the 2 would become a 5,
Right.
which puts you right in the smack of middle of the -2 hindrance. So this one now has a -3 hindrance.
And the first one was actually a 9 then? 6, 7, 8, 9?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
We still so that way we all know we have taken out 3 spiders. One has a hindrance of 3. 3 of them have a hindrance of 1, and 1 is just normal right now. As a recap, so that way you
The
guys.
frozen spider is out. The spider that he smacked when he's starting to do the hinders thing, and the one I grappled into the skull.
Yep.
Are the ones that are out. Okay.
All right. So now, John, you have to pass to either the spiders or Unity.
I am going to think that Unity's not going to take out more than there's what, so 3 out of 9.
6
So
for me.
there's 6 left. So I'm going to split up their forces. I'm going to pass it to you so that you can't make them all 6 do a combined attack on us.
Exactly. Okay. So the first spider, since it was just the one, it was just attacked by you, stands back up and attacks you for 6.
That was the hindered one?
Yep. So
Right.
that would be 3 that it attacks you for on your hit points.
Okay, and I don't have a reaction or anything
Nope.
like that.
So you start off with the full amount on the green range, and so you'd -3 from that. So I would just make a note of where you are for your health points.
Okay, so I'm going from 26 minus 3, 23.
And then the one that was not attacked at all is going to attack Unity, hoping to catch her off guard. And it attacks for 1 point.
Me.
All right.
So the one that attacked me
Light
was the one that I
tingle.
hindered. It
Yes.
had the -3 and hindered, and still got me -3.
Yep.
Okay.
They can. It just that minus is continuous
What?
for them.
Okay. So the minus is
Unless it's a minor thing.
right. They're minus. This one had a -3 to hindrance. So that's a -3 from its die roll. Okay.
Yep. Which means it got a 6. All right. The only person that I can pass to is Unity.
Okay, so I'm going to spawn a golem that's a duplicate of Tachyon over there.
Okay.
And I'm going to use the speech that I was given earlier as inspiration to make it even faster, giving my golem the swift augmentation.
Okay.
And it's going to be an attack bot primarily.
You need to see your back page.
And it shall be a replica of a squirrel.
Oh.
Okay.
It's a
Squirrel
small
sign.
animal or insect. I didn't get a high enough roll to do something more. So, fast squirrel is
Fast
what I
squirrel.
have made. Trying to make
coffee.
it look as much like Tachyon as possible.
All right. So it's all the way open up to the floor. If you pass it to
Actually, I'm going to pass it to the squirrel bot I just made,
oh, okay.
which is going to attack one of those. And since it's swift, I get to roll 2 of its dice and go with a higher one.
Okay.
Scroll on coffee.
So that's a 3 and a 3. Not much difference. So, squirrel mauling one of the spider bots with a 3.
All right. It mauled it good. So it was one of the ones that was at a 1. So it is sitting there twitching.
Okay. And then I'll popcorn it over to absolute 0.
Okay.
All right. Are they still mostly in front of us, or?
They're mostly in front of you guys.
Yeah, kept them from moving.
Okay.
Far
Yeah.
between the
They get to play in an ice rink
Yeah.
then.
They've been frozen. There's like ice around and some scorch marks and that
Time to
fast
play
squirrel.
hockey with them.
Yep,
One
I'm just
random
Them on their
squirrel
back
just-
and
I'm just gonna lay a nice slippery sheet of ice underneath them,
Okay.
and I guess we'll call that creativity. And
Also, just so you guys know, if you come across something that you want to do and it does not fall under any of your first 2 columns, you would use it as an untrained skill, which would be a D4. Or power. Untrained power or skill.
okay, so would this fall under principle of cold?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Max
Well, how
die.
does Principle
You're
of
easy to
Cold
come up with
read?
principle of cold things.
Well, that's my life, man.
You're just
Okay.
a chill
Oh,
dude.
not as good. So 2, 4, and 9. Oh, except. So that would be 7 and 12.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yep. There's no way.
So that would
Well,
be.
You-
I would think they're fairly hindered now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just trying
Oh,
to make
hindering,
the ice rink thing.
Oh, you got
so-
12.
Yeah.
So
That's a negative 4. So
Yeah.
all of them have at least a negative 4, and actually the one, I'm gonna say that the one that was hindered, that was already at a negative 3, falls,
so hard that
and
it blows
so hard
up.
that it blows up. Taking the words right out of my mouth, Max.
Sorry.
Well, that makes my next move not as necessary.
So.
how many blew up? Just the one?
Just
Yeah.
the one.
Okay.
So Bunker's not with us then?
We should sell.
No, bunker.
No
Okay.
bunker.
All right. I will pass on to Tachyon.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. So I'm still spinning around and doing things. The next thing I'll do is go ahead and do the principle of speed so that Or no, sorry. A nimble strike. So when the target moves near me, I can attack it by rolling my speed dice.
Okay. So we're gonna say that they're all in motion right now.
Yeah, they're just kind of.
Slide. They're trying to stay up.
Slip slide away.
Is this close combat, I guess, at this point?
Well, if you step on the ice sheet, you might also be hindered if you're not prepared.
I think if you're trying to do it on the ice, you
Well, it's
probably.
a nimble strike. Target moves near me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say probably close combat.
You could
Okay.
always try for a Tokyo Drift move. I mean.
Yeah.
Call it finesse at that point.
So just remember, there is a sheet of ice, so you have to tell me how it is not hindering you.
Well, I'm going to use it to my advantage to skate on it.
Okay.
Just beware, the East German
Control
judge never
slide.
gives
So you-
anybody above a 6.
What's that?
The East German judge never gives anybody above a 6. So. Olympic skating.
Oh. I was like, what are you talking? Okay, yeah, all right. Yep, my usual rolls.
But you get +3.
That one, oh no, that one's a 10. Never mind. So not
Okay.
my usual rolls. Okay.
So
That
do you
was
get to
better
use your
than
max die or your mid die?
Let's see. In nimble strike, just says my speed die. So my speed die was my 10 sided. So that's a
So
10.
you'd use your time.
Okay.
That's my max die.
So, alright.
That's 13.
That is 13.
Bada
That's
bing,
heroic.
Bada bang, bada boom.
That's hero.
And
It is no vapor.
as you slide into it,
Yeah.
you take it and it just
Yep.
flies into the building and then falls. And then
Groovy.
blows up. So,
I was gonna do the
absolute
groovy,
overkill.
but I was like, wait, I'm groovy.
Okay.
Alright.
Who do you pass it to?
Oh.
And then the Spanish commentator says, "Go!"
Okay.
Okay,
my
so if you
character.
pass it to him, you lose your +3 for anyone else who would go in this turn, which could be.
I don't understand.
I
what?
think every.
Race-
Oh, the
race is
inspirational
over.
thing.
Plus
Right,
3
but-
bonus.
Only lasts until he takes his
His
turn.
next turn.
So,
Yeah.
Wraith and.
Oh, I see. And that takes it away from everybody.
Yeah, so just let him
Yeah,
be inspirational.
because-
Oh, that
right
sucks.
I'll just-
that
I'll
he
just say-
says to sit
I
there.
can,
All
I
right,
can
just-
go last. It's fine.
Okay.
all right.
Inspirational.
Let him
So,
be the figure.
so you're still flying around going, come on, you guys, you
Go.
can do it.
I'm just not.
Well, maybe you can do it. I don't really know you that well, but I'm assuming you can do it.
Well, I mean, you know all of the people. He just
No,
doesn't.
no. It was because earlier
Oh,
you
yeah.
did
Yeah.
the modifiers to the evildoers. Well, maybe they're not evildoers. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Right, so I
Very
continue to
subconscious
Allen style
about-
modifiers.
Okay, so I am going
Self-doubt.
to use my principles of stealth with a gadget, aka smoke bomb, and my stealth roll to disappear, so I can eventually get set up for a strike in the shadows.
Okay.
I don't do the stand out public thing like you guys do. All right, 8. Oh wait a minute, that's a 10.
Yes, it is.
That's a 10, so 13.
13. Alright, you are gone. They don't even remember that you were ever there in the first place.
Clearly inferior programming.
So, your options right now are to pass it to Unity or Legacy or the spiders. And there are 3 spiders, all of which are hindered.
Well, how many did we start with?
9.
9.
9.
Nine.
Okay.
We're down. We're taking it 4
Okay.
now.
Okay.
So, since there's only 3 spiders, I don't see there's much of an advantage of getting 2 of them things, and he may be able to take out more before it happens. So I will go ahead and pass it to Unity, who's going to do a 2-for-1 punch
Hopefully.
by uniting their bodies together.
Oh, and the squirrel gets to go on during Unity.
Squirrel.
Yep.
Squirrel.
Goldfish.
So the squirrel is going to attack one of them
Had to be a
Right in the throat.
with a 4.
The 4.
+3.
No, you didn't hear my speech.
Yeah, my squirrel.
Oh, that's right.
It's just a random ass squirrel.
It didn't exist.
Well, it's a good thing that they're so injured.
Don't do that. Just remind
Okay.
just so you know, we try to keep this safe for all audiences, so we don't have have to restrict audiences. So just make sure to keep the language clean.
Certainly.
Okay. So how is the squirrel attacking?
Mm.
Because it's gonna hit on the and it's pretty bad on the ice right now.
It's going to run up and just try to barrel through its eye, the laser eye thing.
Well, it goes through the eye and comes out the other side in between where it hit is attached.
This is the squirrel went through.
It's a very fast
it's
squirrel.
Obligatory
modeled on you,
booyah.
so it's a supersonic squirrel.
Oh, it goes through.
It's a Vorpal squirrel.
Yeah.
Obligatory booyah.
There's a panel on the back that just goes, and there's the squirrel coming out the back side.
He's related to the Monty Python rabbit. Things like daggers.
And then
I'll go change your armor.
with my actual turn, I'm going to try to hack into one of them.
Okay.
So that
Hacking
would,
doesn't work like that.
with my weird powers,
I
it
know
does.
I'm quoting Humans in Households. It's trying to hack the door. It's not electronic. It doesn't work like that.
So this would most likely be my robotics. And
It's a sonic screwdriver trying to open a wooden lock.
Yeah.
my status is still like and where is that? Okay, and I'll get the squirrel out of the box there.
Oh, everybody gets a hero point for my bamfing out, because that's a principle of
Okay.
stealth.
And since this is a
Oh,
tech
4.
challenge, I will be using my maximum die, so 5.
5. All
Plus
right.
3.
Oh, this isn't an attack. Oh yeah, overcomes. So yeah, it is an 8.
Oh, okay. As it slides and its legs go out, you come in with you're punching it or
No, I'm just using my powers to hack into its
Oh.
system.
Oh,
I now own this robot.
Okay, this robot goes splayed out on, and its light is just blinking.
Actually, I'm going to make it shoot its
Error.
laser at its own feet.
Error.
Oh, at its own feet? Okay. Well, it definitely does that. And it no longer has front legs.
Huzzah!
So it's just
Flopping.
and like its light is blinking. And it has no legs in the front.
It's a little late. I didn't think about it. Plus, since it's on the ice and with my luck, it might have just ended up shooting one of us.
Alright. So do you pass to the spiders or do you pass to Legacy?
Legacy finally can get a turn.
Yay! Okay, so I'm still flying and there's only one robot that's not hacked still there?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's at quite the disadvantage.
Okay, well I'm going to swoop down. Well, actually, where is our city located, ask?
You're
Is it
in
close?
front of the new megalopolis Freedom Tower.
Where about?
New York City.
Okay, there we go.
It's like New York City,
Okay.
yeah.
You want to know that there's a coast nearby.
I
so
do
because-
want to know that there's a coast nearby. I'm
Yes.
going
We're
to.
gonna go
It's
with-
hardcore inland.
Oh.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, so it's Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Well.
Every depiction Megalopolis has
Well-
no water anymore.
Okay. Well,
Not-
then it's
not
not
even a lake?
Chicago
Oh, really?
because Chicago's right on a Great Lake.
You know what I mean, though. It's hardcore inland.
Okay. Well, then I guess I'm just going to have
Do
to,
we have a map of Megalopolis?
They haven't came that far.
instead of swooping down, I'm just going to go straight down and just kind of squish it into the ground.
Okay.
Cotton cake.
He's going to do
Alright.
a superhero landing on its head.
Would that be
What
flight or
bad for your
strength?
shins and knees?
Well, I feel like you're just kind of letting yourself drop at that.
So it'd be a lack of flight. So
Some
it'd be
strength.
Okay.
Strength and...
Close combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Sure.
hitting it with your
Yeah.
body.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're still green and the environment is still green.
Okay.
So, everybody's still green.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Ooh, that's not so great. Is it still principal over here?
All right, Kermit.
Well, I mean,
I'd
it's
say
super
they're
hindered,
principal.
so I don't think it would be Principal Hero
I don't
right
think
now.
so either. Okay, well then I got a solid 2.
Well,
Unless she rolls a 5
Yeah.
or a 6. She's
I would have had to have rolled a 7.
which she can't.
Out of 6-sided die.
Yeah, I was excited to die. So you land, and it just crunches.
It is now.
And now it is. Everyone is looking at you, waiting for a
Oh no.
lead,
a one-liner.
heroic one-liner.
essentially.
Oh crap. Okay.
It's
Well,
gotta be.
well, sometimes
He's right.
it
You have to have your hands on your hips.
Gosh.
Feel it.
Pump out your chest.
Sucks to lead, doesn't it, Legacy?
Well, sometimes you just gotta stomp on those bugs. I don't know. Wait.
There we go.
Sometimes you just have to squash bugs underneath your feet. No.
Hire a new writer.
I told you to squash it. No, that's
wait.
not it. Sometimes you just
It's right there. I know it.
That's great.
This is why Woody Allen.
I was enrolled.
You need to go watch the Woody Allen movie.
Principal.
You know what
Okay.
you're doing.
And that is the scene that I have prepared, knowing that the front loading would be a little bit much.
Okay, good,
And tried to stay on time.
good. Now, is this from the? So I'm gonna let everybody just freeze for a second because I'm trying to reset things. We'll be right back.